there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
Tucked away in a leafy corner of Oxfordshire, there's a workshop where unloved and forgotten objects are given a new lease of life.
Now, that looks brilliant. This is polished up beautifully.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Gary Wallis is a restoration and salvage dealer with a difference.
What would you want for the whole thing?
In his hunt for the unexpected,
Haven't got those in a 10, have you? No.
he travels far and wide to buy abandoned objects with hidden potential.
Wow, what's this thing? That's amazing. 2.5, and you got a deal.
All right, no problem.
Then reinvents and transforms them into one-of-a-kind marvels. Helping him are his band of skilled designers and craftspeople who paint, cut, chisel and stitch to create masterpieces that are sought after by collectors the world over.
I've got to get $12.50 for it.
Thank you very much, Gary.
All right.
Yes.
We turn the impossible into the doable, basically.
We're the ultimate recyclers.
Welcome to the Restoration Workshop. At the workshop, Gary and right-hand man Eric
What is it about you and large, awkward pieces?
are preparing an 18th century scullery table for transformation. After all, a table without a top is barely a table at all. Gary has asked old friend and artisan metalworker Philip to come up with an eye-catching solution.
Oh, Gary. Yeah, long time no see.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, good. Where's this table, Gary?
Well,
Wow, look at
I've got
that.
this wonderful old Victorian server table, and I think giving that a zinc acid etched top would just bring it to life.
It would make it.
Let's take some measurements, and then...
sure. Incredible, isn't it, eh? Look at the wear on those runners there. God, it's incredible.
Yeah,
isn't
they
it?
need a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
But what a wonderful piece. I'm going to bring this base to life, and I think the combination with the acid etched top and that is going to make it the business.
It'll be singing by the time we're finished.
Singing.
Leaving Philip to get started on the zinc tabletop, Gary is heading to the pub. Sadly, for business, not pleasure.
Right, well, I'm just off to go and see a great friend of mine, Gary Fluxy. He's the landlord of a great little pub in New Elm, lovely little historic town just outside Henley. And he's had the exterior refinished and now wants me to look at it and see what I can do to help the inside. It's a busy little pub, so he really wants it to look its best.
After you, sir.
Fluxy has known Gary for years and wants to make use of his eye for interiors.
There's lots of history around here, the local area. There's lots of inputs I've got in relation to my customer base, for example. We've got two villages that are quite close to each other.
Sure.
Benson and New Elm itself. So I want to try to interact with all that and bring something back into the pub to make it a community pub in relation to using those injects of what the community is around here.
OK, well, let's see if we can embrace that and let's see what we can do with the place.
Excellent.
Should we have a look around?
Yeah, let's have a little walk around.
Gary's job today is to help Fluxy redesign the drinking hole's tired interior and add to the cornucopia of man cave oddities that gives the pub its style.
This is a heavily used but underdeveloped room, if that's what makes sense. It's not, you know, it gets used for functions, we have weddings, parties in here, but I've thrown stuff together in here. And there's no sort of theme and nothing flows, so it's just trying to get some, your input to make it work, really, mate.
No, I can see you've got some amazing bits and pieces. Love this. This is cool.
Yeah, this is a tail rotor from an American Wessex helicopter.
Well, it's got great design and great presence. And some of these other bits and pieces, that's cool. I like the prop dock. We should keep that, I think.
Yes, yeah.
There's plenty to work with. bring a few more elements in, which I've got some ideas already. And there's a lot we can do in here and do it on a sensible budget.
Excellent.
Back at the workshop, Gary's first idea revolves around a passion of his.
I'm just going to let you into a little secret stash I have. This is a taste of the collection I've amassed over the years.
Gary collects militaria, and one of his wartime collections has given him a novel idea for a piece of furniture that should fit in perfectly with the pub's quirky style.
I bought my first flying jacket in the King's Road in Chelsea when I was about 16. That's here. I've since found out it's actually a genuine Second World War aircrew jacket. So some people might look completely knackered, but actually that's a piece of history there. I mean, I did wear this for a while, but I can't get in it anymore.
As much as he loves the jackets, some have seen better days. Never one to throw things away unnecessarily, Gary's come up with an unusual plan for them.
I've got a jacket here. Again, it's a Second World War jacket. And I was thinking, I've always thought, what can I do with these, this sort of stuff that comes up? And I've always toyed with the idea of covering a chair, a wing chair, that would work really well. And it's a way of utilising something that's otherwise going to be discarded. And it's an idea I've had for ages, and I just would like to put it in practice.
Gary's bold idea is not just to use the leather from the jackets and the chair, but also the zips, collars, pockets and trim to make a truly unique piece.
So this one I might actually consider using for the project I've got in mind, just because it's got all the elements. And then there are various designs. That's a sort of side zip version. That's that lovely old Second World War one. And then, that's a whole different collection.
With the chair and the jacket selected, Gary sets off to see an old friend with a set of skills he needs.
Well, this isn't a straightforward upholstery project. It's something a little bit out of the box, and there's only one person I know that's even got the imagination that this job requires, and that would be Rebecca. She's a big character, and she is fabulous at what she does, and I just couldn't trust this with anyone else other than her. Hello.
Hiya. You all right with that?
Not really.
Got it?
Cheers. Oh. How you doing?
How are you?
Very well, very well.
What you got here?
I want to turn this boring old wing chair, wing chair being the angle here, so we're going to cover it in flying jackets.
Ah.
And I want you, with your expertise and imagination, to try and utilise the jackets in a way, so maybe the front seam there with the fur on the collar there, the arms can be there with the fur coming around there, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Do you think that's feasible?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then you still have the front edge showing.
Yeah. Think of a stereotypical flying jacket. I want to look at the chair and think that just speaks what it is, you know? But pretty much, you got license. You know what I'm looking for, but you've got license to kind of play with it, basically.
Do whatever I want with it.
So definitely doable.
Yes, absolutely doable.
All right, well, I'll leave it in your very capable hands then.
OK, see you soon.
See you, Daddy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
In Henley, antiques guru Gary Wallis has given upholsterer Rabia the task of using worn-out World War II flying jackets to cover an old wing-back chair.
Interesting project, and something I really have to think about, because I have a chair and I've got 4 jackets.
Not everyone would dare take on an idea like this, but as Gary's go-to upholsterer, Rabia is used to turning his quirky visions into reality. And with 18 years' experience, a BA in furniture restoration, and a string of imaginative projects behind her, she should be up to the task.
It's a challenge, and we actually like challenges. So anything what's different, we appreciate. So we just go head on and do it, basically.
The first step is to work out how the 4 jackets can be taken to pieces and arranged to cover the chair.
I'm just taking this jacket apart And I'm trying to take the trimming off because we can definitely reuse that and use that as features to hide a seam or to decorate bits of the arm.
The first jacket Rabia unpicks has the least damage, which makes it ideal for an important section of the chair.
Extracted the front, which is quite nice. Fits me very nicely. And which I think should be the main focal point on the chair. And I can, for the moment, pin this roughly in position. Have this as my main piece where I can then design the rest around it, because I think this is the nicest and most interesting piece of all the jackets.
The front may be in place, but fitting the rest of the jackets over the awkwardly shaped chair is a bigger challenge. Philip and his assistant Tom are making great strides with the brand new zinc tabletop for Gary. They've already glued 3 sheets of zinc to a slab of plywood.
We're doing the zinc dance.
Nothing better than your own body weight. Not that there's much to me.
Then weighed them down with over a ton of weights to make sure there are no blemishes, leaving the top to dry overnight.
Ready for another day, exciting day. Well, we fit into the more antique system where handmade and individual bespoke items rather than actually sort of factory produced. There we go, under the table. These weights, they could be quite old, these weights. They've come from an old platform scale, and I should think every farm would have had a platform scale once upon a time to measure, say, a bushel of wheat or a bag of wheat, and hence to sell on.
With the weights heaved off and the zinc stuck fast, a rim is attached to the underside to bend the zinc around. Philip has already curved the original edge of the table, and they cut and sand the new rim to match.
The next process now is to actually glue the sides here and flip it over, and then start bending the sides to wrap around the table edge. Oh, it's getting heavier. My God, it is. Nice crisp edge, all by hand, yeah?
They press and hammer the zinc to create a perfect edge.
The thicker the edge is, of course, it's more metal to bend round. So as when Gary sees how easy it is, he might do this himself in future. Over she goes.
Okay, so now we're going to staple this edge down so it can't move.
Yeah.
The zinc is then bent carefully around the rim of the table, before Philip moves on to the tricky curved edges Gary asked for. They may look good, but they don't make life easy.
That's better, that's better. Yeah. All right, the top's now finished with the turning process, and we're ready to go on to the next, which is soldering all the joints.
They use lead-free solder to fill in and make good any discrepancies left in the corners, before sanding them back to create a nice smooth finish. The top layer of zinc is then sanded off, ready for the chemicals that will give it its acid-etched look that Gary envisaged.
Well, that's pretty good, Tom, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Near enough. Now we're going to the painting department now. Yep, super. Looks pretty good. Those corners turned out pretty good.
So now we put a zinc undercoat paint on there. And now this is just a top coat.
Tom is a true apprentice in the world of zinc. He approached Philip 4 years ago to see if he could learn the ropes, and now the two of them work together like a well-oiled machine.
So in this bottle we have an abrasive fluid that will etch itself into the top slightly and give you the finish we're after.
It's a slightly oily base fluid. We'll put water on here, so when it hits it, it goes into a globule and then leaves a globule mark on the top. A bit of texture to the actual top. We'll just have a look at this in a minute, Tom. It might be okay like this, you know.
I reckon it will, you know.
Yeah? We might leave it like this, actually. And
I don't think it needs to be sanded again.
No, no. It's a nice bit of dark corner there, Tom.
Yeah. I think this corner... That looks fine, yeah. It actually looks really good.
Yeah. Every actual top is different. People say, oh, yeah, can I have it like this one? So, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
It's very hit and miss, yeah. Happy with that, Tom?
I'm very happy with that.
I just hope your name's Gary, then.
Back inside, the joins from the zinc are covered with the final aesthetic touches.
One slip of the hammer, then we're really in trouble. The third one from the outside just wants tapping down at the touch, yeah. That's it. Next to that, final job is doing the waxing. We just use a brown wax.
A small amount of white spirit in the wax to just loosen it up a bit and make it easier to spread. And then wax on, wax off. Wipe it on with the brush, wipe it off with a cloth.
It's to induce a little more depth to it. Gives it a bit of a dirtiness to the actual finished product. You don't want things looking too pristine in the antique world because the eye just doesn't accept it. Turned out really well, actually, the corners. Visually, they're actually very pleasing to the eye.
Gary is back on the road. He's struck on what he hopes will be a perfect place to buy standout man cave items to give the Shepherd's Hut pub the lift it needs. As well as being home to the British Grand Prix,
Well, that's something else.
Silverstone also holds an annual auction of all things automotive.
Always keep my eye open. Anything to do with motors, motorbikes, anything road-related, always is a good seller. And although this is possibly not the best place to buy, sometimes you can be lucky, and generally it keeps you abreast of what's going on in the market and prices being achieved.
The auction at Silverstone concentrates mainly on the sale of cars, but there is a floor dedicated to the type of automobilia perfect for Fluxy's pub.
Well, a nice old original showroom poster featuring some of my favourite Jaguars. Nice that, though.
Gary has found some good vintage items, but he's looking for a showpiece to make a real statement in the pub.
This is nice, double-sided BP lamp. Printed on both sides. It would have hung outside a garage. I haven't seen one of these for a long time in this sort of condition, so it's a really nice piece. It would sit in a bar, because you've got a play on words as well, buy from the pump. Great for a bar. It's a reasonable guide, £200 to £300. You know, a little bit of TLC, and it can actually make quite a decent profit on that. Love it. Might have a go at that.
As the auction gets underway, the BP sign is due to be one of the first items under the hammer.
Sometimes the early lots are, you know, not so many people turn up for that. And lots of people are only here for the cars. So sometimes you get a nice little one, you can slip through the net, and hopefully it's the one I'm on. It's been guided at 200 to 300. I'll probably pay up to about 300. And obviously there'll be a little bit of restoration cost, and we need to make a profit, of course. So hopefully my luck's in today.
WW2, that's very generous, sir. 130, there is the vintage British Petroleum sign, extra glass and wooden frame. You like this? Where we said start with £200, 150, £100 away, 120, banding, 160 here. 160 bid then, 160, 160, 160 here. 160 pound bid then, in and sold, front row, 180. 180, 200. 180, you're upside down. 180 pound bid and sold at 180. 4994.
Well, had a great result. Came in at under the estimate. Far better result than anticipated. It's within budget, and looking at it as well, it does look as though it's pretty sound. And if it's all working and up and going, we've had a real result.
At her workshop, Rabia is making good progress stripping the chair, ready for its leather jacket covering.
Where we can, we just get hold of the fabric and try and pull it off. It's a reproduction chair, so it's not an antique, but that shouldn't be a problem, other than we have to make sure when we cover it that we have another layer of fire-retardant fabric before we apply the other one. It's always the interesting thing to take the bottom off to see what's falling out of a chair. The strangest thing I ever found is a French condom from 1940s.
The jackets Gary's given Rabia may have fitted the airman they were designed for like a glove, but they were never meant to be made into a chair, which leaves her with a problem to overcome.
Well, I was looking for a fabric, basically, which I could use as a base cloth. Something underneath. Dark brown has a little bit of character. It's not taking it away from the jacket, it gives it a little bit of a contrast, so you know you can actually establish what is fabric and what is jacket.
Rabia carefully measures, marks and cuts the fabric ready for the chair. Before covering the areas that won't be hidden by the leather.
Normally, I would go and apply something like Dacron to make it nice and soft and to make it even. But as the jackets all have lovely woolen liner, there's no need for this.
The majority of the jackets Rabia's using are B3 bomber jackets. The cosy sheepskin inner that's so good for the chair was originally for aircraft bomber crew in the Second World War. They needed to stay warm at high altitudes of up to 25,000 feet, where temperatures could be as low as minus 30 degrees Celsius. With the material in place, Rabia starts creating panels to cover the sides of the chair.
Taken a few things apart and putting them where they're not supposed to be, but I think from the look, it just emphasises the look he wants it. You always have to put your fingers away so you don't staple them.
The brief was to reuse as many of the jacket's original features as possible.
So I harvested a lot of the bandings which came from the red jacket. This one is actually quite nice because it has a natural curve in it to go over this to hide the seam. Okay. Because this isn't long enough, I have to join it with another piece. And one hidden joint. Nobody knew that there's one. I love studying. I think it's very therapeutic.
With the front and sides reupholstered with the leather and cloth, all that's left is for Rabia to cover the back.
I have a lovely back piece, back panel left, which I think would be quite nice to use. So, to get the symmetry right, we're lining up the middle banding, the banding of the top, doing a little bit of old school, and get tacks in. Right, so establish the middle. If you wonder where all these tacks are coming from, they are underneath my tongue. The reason for that is, if you see, we have a lot of tacks here, and my hammer is magnetic. So if I want to pick one up, that's a little bit of a pain. By keeping them in my mouth, I sort them out with my tongue, get them out to the front, and I have one tack and one tack only. Make sure your fingers are not where your hammer wants to go. As the nature of the back is, we have 2 cutouts here. So I thought, as a nice touch, place it behind and filling the gap with this staples. Make life easier. Chop off the edge just along the frame. Right here. Nice thing on using the inside of the jacket here is because it's so nice and fluffy that you can't really see the tacks I'm putting in. So it looks a little bit as if it's the leather is floating there. Same here, finishing off my zip. Can actually hide it underneath the flap of the jacket. Having a project like this means a lot of improvising, and I think that's quite nice because it shows the creativity of somebody. Et voila! Cushion is also finished now. Nice touch, having a lovely zip of one of the jackets. And putting it in. Squeezing it down. And there we are. 1 chair, 4 jackets.
Hello.
Oh, hiya.
How you doing?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good, thanks.
How was your weekend?
Very good.
Yeah.
Did you manage to get anything done yourself? Ah.
Been working hard.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Well,
Would you like
I
to
can't wait to see it. So.
Yeah. All right. And ta-da!
Whoa, fantastic. Well,
Recognise your chair?
well, kind of.
Kind of.
It is awesome.
Everything you wanted?
And some.
And some. You've got your pockets on the sides.
So we've actually got the functioning zips.
Yep. Yep.
And the
working.
pockets actually
Yep.
work.
Remote control, whatever you want to put in there.
That's the remote, your glasses.
Yep. Yeah, we even used the old zip
Oh, cool.
to make it all authentic as possible.
I don't want to sell it now.
I know. I don't want to give it to you, basically. To keep it.
Wow. No, over the moon.
Good.
Well, I can't wait to get it back and show the team. So, can you give me a hand taking it out?
No, it should stay here.
Okay.
Okay. If I have to. Got it?
Yeah.
From a pile of worn-out jackets and a tired reproduction chair to a unique talking point Gary hopes to sell for £950. Another item Gary's keen to show to Fluxy is the 18th century table. With a shiny new zinc top on its way, Gary wants the base to do it justice.
Quite often with a table of this age, the workmanship is normally very, very good, but you do have to do the odd repair and very often re-glue the joints. This one doesn't appear to have had any adhesive in there at all. So very often they would rely on the accuracy of the actual joint. Now that should last another couple of 100 years.
With the joint repaired, a layer of coloured wax blends the different sections together.
I'm really happy with the way we've managed to get all the tones together, and it's looking really, really cool now.
One finished base, and to crown it, the brand new zinc top.
When Philip and I discussed the top, I did stress I wanted enough character and interest to complement the base, and he's got it absolutely spot on, and I couldn't have asked for a better job. Now, that looks awesome. And when you embark on a project like this, you've obviously got the cost of the original piece. There's time and effort in terms of the transformation and restoration. Eric, check this out. We'd be looking at £1,500–1,600 for this finished item, and I think it's great value.
Doesn't that look knockout?
It's quite a transformation, isn't it?
Wow, it's beautiful. You know, the way he's done these rounded corners, that's really complemented the frame. What a product.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with that.
Big tick in the box.
Really, really, really pleased.
From a forgotten topless carcass to a shiny example of how to blend the old-fashioned with the contemporary. At Gary's workshop, electrical expert Eric has got his hands on the vintage light that Gary bought at auction.
So I can see that the casing has actually completely broken away, exposing the bare wires inside, so this has all got to come out. So that goes in our recycling bin. It can't be used again as electrical cable, but it can be used again as a metal resource, so that's what's going to happen to this. So out come the tubes. Oh, this is scary stuff. Right, here we go. Oh, yes, there we go. I don't suppose anybody's been in here for a long time. No, they haven't. Oh, my God. Wow, OK. Very old electrics. This is a bit of British electrical history here we're looking at. We're certainly going to be renewing this and this. I'm definitely going to replace the incoming power supply.
Eric puts all the parts back together and wires the lamp up temporarily.
I'm going to take it inside and plug it in, see if it works. I mean, we're looking at 60 years of electrical history sitting here with all those aging components. I've absolutely no idea if it's going to work, so we'll plug it in. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Wow. I am so pleased with this. That really tells you something about the quality of British engineering, and it's working as well now as it did when it was first installed, which is just incredible.
With the old lights shining brightly again, Eric moves on to the tired exterior.
So what I've noticed is that the end pieces of this fluorescent fitting are actually cast aluminium. They look like it. I think they've been oversprayed and then all the paint has long ago just pinged off. I think there's an opportunity to have a look at this on the buffing machine and see if we can give this a nice polished aluminium look. OK, so I've got the old buffing shirt on.
Everyone should have one.
And let's just have a look and see quite what this wants to do, just as a sample. Let's have a little look at this. OK, well, look at that. You can see with a little bit of effort, we can buff off the whole of each of the end casings. So I'll take the others off and we'll do them all in one go.
Eric buffs both ends of the panel and then gives a new shine to the hooks the lights hang from.
Yep. Just what I hoped. See how this original paint, that's all that's left. I could have put some paint stripper on it, taken it off and polished it all back, but this to me is a little bit of its life, and everything else is polished up, but I like the original paint on there. And I cut myself a length of fine wire wool. And just give this, just takes that surface rust off. The edges, a little bit of a sheen. So I'm just going to try a little bit of wax. Oh, that's lovely. Just brought a bit of warmth out of the original rusting on the surface. That's a good look, and it creates a really powerful look.
Back at his workstation, all that's left for Eric to do is add a layer of wax to the shade.
I'm very, very pleased with this. I think it looks great. I'm going to reassemble this now, and that's just going to be so exciting to turn it all on when that's back together.
With the light back to its former glory, all that's left is to get the seal of approval from the boss.
Ah, now that looks brilliant.
I think it's looks astonishing.
Yeah.
Stunning, isn't it?
Yeah, love it. Come up really well. It does look great lit up. And
what I love is the tone of that aluminium and the way that the metal is exposed on the sign itself through the paintwork.
As it is perfect.
Yeah.
And it actually, I can see that in some little bar. And as much as I hate to see it go, if it did go to Fluxy's bar, then I might still get to appreciate it.
Oh, well, perhaps I might get to appreciate it too, then.
Well, you do.
You're buying.
Love it. It's come up really, really well.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you're pleased. That's great, Gary.
Great stuff.
The items for the pub are finished and ready to show Fluxy. But before Gary takes them over, he's had some exciting news about the zinc table.
As with everything in this business, you need to have the wheels of commerce ticking along nicely, and this wonderful item is going to a new home, so a really nice and unexpected day. I have to say, I'm sorry to see it go, because it's I really do quite like this piece.
Having paid a total of £400 for the table and top, Gary's sold this vision in zinc for £950 to a friend in the trade.
How do you want to do this?
Along with a few other select items from Gary's Aladdin's Cave.
A little bit of industrial because of the top, but it's also farmhouse because of the bottom. It works as either a kitchen island, dining table, work table.
Cheers, Gary. Thanks again, mate.
Thanks again.
Can't get any more in there, so I'll let you go.
With the table out the door, Gary wants to keep the sales run going. And so, with the van loaded with the chair, BP sign and a couple of other man cave items, he sets off to see if he's hit the nail with Fluxy.
Gary!
How you doing?
Very well, mate. How are you?
Nice
You all
seeing you,
right?
mate.
Yeah, good, mate. Good. What we got here, then?
Well, I've got one or two bits we discussed.
Yep.
And another couple of bits that I think we need to see in situ.
OK, cool. Excellent. A little Aladdin's Cave. Oh, wow. What we got here, then, Gary?
I actually created this chair, and I thought it might work really well in your place.
It's a good piece of kit, I must admit. It does, you know, it's certainly unique, but I'll have a sit in it. So I'll see what the punters will experience. Oh, looks cosy, that's for definite. I mean, it's more of a size-wise, Gary. I just don't think it's going to fit in the pub.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, if it's not right, it's not right. But I just thought... I knew you'd appreciate it, so... Well, I'm disappointed Gary didn't take the chair, but it was worth bringing it over. I knew he'd appreciate it, and it just didn't work for him, so that's not a problem. Someone else will buy it.
The chair may be a no, but the key to Gary's business is knowing his customers. And he's still got a couple of pieces he thinks Fluxy might love.
I actually really like this bit. I've got a perfect place for it as well, I think, just on that wall over there.
OK.
OK, so what's the bit of history behind that one, then?
Well, it's I think it's a 50s, 60s Jag.
OK.
But what I love about it is its form. It's got it's kind of three-dimensional.
Yes.
And it's got another added bonus that we've managed to find a scaled version of the Jaguar and applied that, and it just finishes off.
A lot of my locals in the pub, they will love that, I must admit. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's try it in situ, and then see if we can't, because you realise it illuminates as well.
Right, OK. Wow, OK, good.
How about that?
Yeah, like it. That looks perfect on that wall. Very happy with that go. Unique, wow factor, everything I'm wanting. That's just spot on. Really happy with that. It's exactly what I wanted, you know. It's quirky enough, it's individual, and yeah, hopefully my punters love it. Talking money, what's your bottom line on it?
350.
250.
275.
265. 270.
270, go on. Yeah, all right.
OK, good stuff.
One sale in the bag, and with the car theme working well, Gary has another beautiful piece he wants to try and tempt Fluxy with.
I think it will work. It would make your bar look twice the size.
A mirror made from the grille of a rare and exclusive vintage French car.
No, I like it. I like it. Whether it's size-wise, it's right there. I'm not 100% sure. What sort of ballpark on this one?
It's 1,200 quid.
Is it now? I mean, it is an amazing piece of work that you've done. I think I'm probably going to leave it for now, Gary, to be honest.
I understand. We'll leave it on the back burner, but we'll leave it there for now.
Okay,
right?
cool. Let's move on.
The mirror might be a no, but Gary's been saving the best till last. The BP sign he bought from Silverstone for £180.
Right then, tell us a bit about this then, Gary.
Well, this item here I actually bought from a sale. It's one of my favourite things. When I bought it, I kind of visualised it here, believe it.
Yeah, so agreed. Buy from the pump.
BP, buy from the pump.
Yeah.
And the arrow points to the bar.
Yes, yeah.
And the fact that it's double-sided,
brilliant.
This spot would be perfect.
Yeah, no, agreed, totally.
If you get that side of it, we could hold it up there,
Excellent.
see what you think.
Really good. Yeah, that'll work, definitely, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all good. Good. Like it.
Ticket price is £5.95.
Is it now, really? Is it? Okay.
But I don't mind taking a working man's profit on it.
Okay.
And there's no negotiation on this.
There's no negotiation on this.
It is £4.50.
It's £4.50, is it now? So 400's then the final price.
No, £4.50.
400's good.
£4.50.
I've got children to feed, Gary.
All right then.
Excellent. Great
Always
answer.
works
Sold.
for children.
Good stuff, love it.
So I'll get this one up for you today.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, it's just, I'm really lucky to have found Gary and his teams. I can go somewhere and you can put all these bits together and, we get the end result, which is this.
For me, seeing the items in situ is obviously quite satisfying because it's one thing having the vision, sourcing the items, doing the work, and then actually, the real pleasure is seeing the end game. All in all, good day's business.
Quite cosy when winters are cold.
That's amazing. It really is.
And I can ship it for you, it's not a problem. Door to door.
Thank you very much, Gary.
How's that?
How you doing, mate?
Next time on Restoration Workshop...
You've got the manual, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Gary's motor skills are put to the test.
It would be easier if you and I didn't have fingers like chippered artists, wouldn't it?
Eric stumbles upon a new concept.
It's been tree-cycled.
Tree-cycled, indeed.
And another of Gary's bright ideas comes to life.
But seeing the lights on, it's getting quite exciting now.
I can see it radiating in your face.